What if the reason you're overwhelmed as a new leader has nothing to do with your ability and everything to do with what you were never taught? Welcome back to Uncommon Sense Lab. I'm Maya, and today we're taking a deeper dive into one of the most misunderstood transitions in the workplace, first-time leadership. It's the one promotion that should feel validating, yet for so many people it feels like a quiet crisis. First-time leadership is a common career experience, but also one of the least supported. It changes everything. Your relationships shift, expectations multiply, visibility increases, and suddenly, the skills that made you exceptional as an individual contributor don't help you nearly as much in your new role. Leadership isn't a higher version of your old job. It's a different job entirely. We received an email from a viewer named Jenna, and after reading it, I met with her on Zoom to understand the full picture. Jenna works in project coordination. She was promoted to lead the very team she used to be part of. And here's what she told me in her email. Maya, I thought leading this team would feel natural, but I constantly feel behind. I'm doing more of the work than ever. And I can't tell if I'm overwhelmed, or just not meant to be a leader. During our Zoom call, she said something that became the turning point. I feel like I'm still doing my old job, and somehow also doing this new one. That's when we started walking through the psychology behind her experience. The first thing Jenna was facing is something called role ambiguity. In workplace psychology, role ambiguity is when a job gives you responsibility without giving you clarity. Jenna said, "Every day feels like a moving target." That feeling wasn't incompetence, it was ambiguity. Once Jenna recognized this as a structural issue, not a personal one, she stopped trying to cover every gap just to survive the day. Understanding role ambiguity helped her ask her manager to confirm weekly top priorities, identify which tasks were actually hers and which she had absorbed out of fear, and replace guessing with alignment. The second force behind Jenna's struggle was the simplest one. She had never been trained to lead. Her promotion happened quickly. The person who held the role before her left unexpectedly, and because Jenna was such a strong individual contributor, the company moved her into leadership immediately. During our Zoom call, she told me, "I assumed I could just figure it out. I didn't think I needed separate training." And honestly, this is incredibly common. People believe leadership is just the next level of doing their old job. But leadership isn't instinct. It's a different skill set. Once Jenna understood that her overwhelm wasn't a sign of poor ability, but a sign of missing tools, she stopped blaming herself for the chaos she was experiencing. And after our conversation, she made a grounded, practical decision. She enrolled in the leadership training her company had already offered, the same training she had originally ignored. She told me it gave her something she'd been missing, a structure for making decisions, setting expectations, and managing workload. It didn't solve everything overnight, but it gave her the foundation her promotion didn't. The third framework Jenna and I walked through was delegation, and the deeper psychology behind why new leaders avoid it. At first, Jenna thought she didn't delegate because she didn't trust her team, but on our call, she said, "I trust them, I just don't trust myself as a leader yet." That's the part most people don't talk about. Delegation stopped being something she avoided and became something she practiced on purpose, starting with small tasks, clear expectations, and follow-up conversations that helped her team grow and helped her stop doing work that no longer belonged to her. On our final Zoom, Jenna admitted something I hear often from first-time leaders. I was more afraid of being seen as incompetent than I was interested in actually learning to lead. That honesty became her turning point. Once she acknowledged that fear, she finally had space to grow into the role she'd been given. Over the next few weeks, she clarified expectations with her manager, restructured her workload, and delegated deliberately instead of reacting to every need herself. The combination of clarity, training, and finally handing off work helped her step into the role without feeling like she was drowning. If you're stepping into leadership for the first time, or if you feel like Jenna did, here's the framework we use to rebuild confidence. Strengthen your foundation with actual leadership training, not instinct. Most new leaders are promoted for their performance, not their preparation, so the role feels harder than it should. Jenna finally took the leadership training her company had offered, and it gave her what her promotion didn't: structure, language, and tools for leading instead of doing. Training doesn't replace experience, but it gives you a starting point, clear expectations, and a way to make decisions without guessing. Leadership is more than a promotion. It's a shift in how you need to think, decide, and support others. The transition starts when you develop the skills that your new role depends on, rather than relying on the ones that made you successful before. I'm Maya with Uncommon Sense Lab. Thanks for taking a deeper dive with me today, and I'll see you in the next episode.